Week 9 in the books. We're underway for week 10. This is What's Your Fantasy? We got your top waiver wire ads right here after this. What's going on, everybody? NFL world, fantasy football world. Welcome to What's Your Fantasy? It's your host, the WayneBreezie, Crystal Peachy B. Week 9 in the books, Peachy. Anything you want to recap off of your week 9 before we get into the show? Like, how's everything going fantasy football wise?
Man, it just sucking. I'm just really glad for it to be over. I think I may have a shot in about 4 leagues. Other than that, the rest of them are just trash. They're trash leagues. Either people are gone for the season or just not performing, being benched for other players. I mean, you just name it. It's just going on. It's pretty miserable right now.
I would say if you got something going on in 4 leagues, that's actually not bad because technically you shouldn't be in more than 3. But if you're like me, what did I count mine? I think I was in like 18 or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous, right? I hope I'm good in 4 leagues. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just been rough. You're right. You know, it's been rough. Good news, you got some players coming back. I don't know if this is going to help anybody, but the return of Christian McCaffrey for fantasy football owners, you should be in heaven right now celebrating like, yes, it's Christian McCaffrey. Now, hold up. His practice window has been opened. He has not been officially activated to the active roster, so hold your horses on that one. But there's a possibility he'll be back. Peachy, a lot of stuff is going on. Today is the NFL trade deadline day. We'll talk more about that on our podcast for the Patreon, so make sure you guys go to thepatreon.com/TheWayneBreezie so you can check out our show over there. They know ball. And we'll talk about the trade deadline. But what's going on in the fantasy football world? Anything like other than the injuries we got to get to? Because we're gonna get to the injuries, like for sure.
Well, besides the trades, we have people that are coming back. So like you said, CMC will definitely help, and then there are others like Nico Collins that'll help someone. Wide receivers getting pretty thin out there and everything. It's like we're losing a bunch of wide receivers, but we're getting some back. Yeah. So that definitely will.
Any of the blockbuster trades that went down, you feel is going to be a great move? Like not the ones we already talked about, but like anyone that sticks out that you feel like is going to be productive, like Mike Williams to the Steelers, or I'm just trying to think of some of those, like Khalil Herbert to his new team. He's going to Cincinnati. He'll be sharing the rock with Zach Moss. We'll talk about his injury. But any of these like new moves you feel like might actually help a fantasy football team this year?
I think that it might be a good thing for Mike Williams going to the Steelers. I think that's going to help him out. I think that if you do need a wide receiver, it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Khalil Herbert with Chase Brown, that's really just those two. It's definitely going to be a good move once he gets acclimated in Cincinnati. Some people, when they get traded, they start right away. Some people, it takes them like a week, or whatever to get with that. But definitely keep an eye on Khalil Herbert.
Okay. Khalil Herbert. I can't remember if Khalil Herbert to the Bengals. That you're right, because the Browns have not Singletary, Swift, and I think Rashawn Johnson. So that could be a good bonus, like you're talking about going to the Bengals. Somebody's got to split them with Chase Brown. I think that's how they like their offense to be ran, and their offense is starting to kind of like get going, if I'm not mistaken. Like Joe Burrow's starting to look like Joe Burrow, and they're getting everybody involved because there's a player right now I feel like is a damn good player if they just throw him the ball like on their team. We're not going to talk about who that is, but let's get to these football injuries. We talked about Zach Moss, their running back, has a neck injury. He's out indefinitely, likely out for the remainder of the NFL season. What else we got going on with these NFL injuries?
Yeah, quarterback Dak Prescott that has a major hamstring injury that actually turned out to be worse than they originally thought. He is slated to be out at least 4 weeks. It looks like that the Cowboys are leaning towards putting him on IR. Teams try with their star players, especially a quarterback, to not do it. But Jerry Jones did say on the radio show that it looks like that's what's going to happen, that they're going to put him on IR. So Cooper Rush would be your next quarterback. Apparently, that's who they want to roll with. And Jerry Jones, because he likes to talk a lot, also said it's possible that Cooper Rush could just finish off the season, because it looks like that the Cowboys might be done for this season. I think mentally a lot of the players are over it. So if you need a quarterback, pick up Cooper Rush, because there's not many quarterbacks left out there at this time of the year. So if you are suffering because your quarterback has let you down, not been as productive as you thought, you might want to go with Cooper Rush, because that's going to be Dallas' quarterback for probably the remainder of the season. Probably going to shelve Dak. That's what I feel really strong about from the way that Jerry sounded. That's what he kind of was leaning towards.
All right, so for all those Dak Prescott owners, I don't know if you want to, get rid of him, especially if he's your backup. I don't know how people play fantasy football on near teams. Like, some people like to ride with two quarterbacks. I know me personally, I'll go with two quarterbacks like the majority of the season, just for that one bye week.
Yeah, me too.
Some people go with two quarterbacks, and they kind of pay attention to the matchups. So I don't know. Like, I know in one league, I think I have Dak. I tried to stay away from him, but I needed a quarterback. I think I got him and Brock. And so I last week Brock's on a bye. I had to use Dak Prescott. He ends up getting hurt. I end up losing. Like, that's just how it works for me. But I don't know if he's going to be out. I don't know if you want to hold on to him. He is going to the IR. If you have an IR slot, maybe you put him in the IR slot just in case they do bring him back. But yeah, any other injuries as far as like just players? Any updates on Chris Olave? I know he did get a concussion. He went to the hospital. He got carted off the field. I'm not sure if he'll be back.
He got a severe concussion. I went to the Saints pages. It doesn't look like he's playing this week.
All right, so that's going to be another wide receiver down. So, guys, this is football. This is like it, and that's what fantasy football is all about, is managing. When players get injured, you got to be a good manager. You got to figure out how to play the waiver wire, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And it's just the way it is. How well can you manage your team through a season that's going to be faced with some type of adversity? Any other injuries before we move on to the top 10 scoring leaders?
There's some good news. Running back Jonathan Brooks is making his debut for the Carolina Panthers.
All right.
The rookie.
Rookie out of Texas.
Yeah, so they're going to check him out. And then we already welcomed back Christian McCaffrey. We don't have any information if he's definitely playing week 10. We just hope that he is. But he's not been, deemed yet to play week 10. He's just, in that window. You get like a 15-day window or something like that. And I think he's in that window. So that's what we have. Caleb Williams. Keep an eye on Caleb Williams if you have him as your starting quarterback, because Chicago is being very hush-hush about the situation. Went to some Chicago pages. Not sure Caleb's going to play. The Bears are kind of going backward now, and they're having a couple of issues. So we'll see what happens with Caleb, but he does have an ankle
Is it injury related
that they are concerned about. Yeah, ankle. Okay. Yeah, he does. And then Keon Coleman from Buffalo, the Bills,
yes,
has a wrist injury that they are keeping an eye on as well. And then the Bengals, speaking of the Bengals, T. Higgins, his quad, because they played on Thursday Night Football, he's not scheduled to play this week. So they're going to leave him out.
So he's been ruled out already?
He's not going to have time to ramp up to do that. So, yep.
Okay. All right.
We got.
There you got it. I mean, there you got it, man. That's another week with no T. Higgins. This might be the end of my T. Higgins drafting career. He might end up just being a waiver wire person.
Right.
All right. Top 10 scoring leaders. We got them across the board. Jackson Smith and Jigba from the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, don't know the update on DK Metcalf's injury. Doesn't look like he's going to play this week either. Yeah. They didn't trade him, but I don't know what's going on with DK Metcalf. But again, Jackson Smith and Jigba, 37 points. He was the leading scorer in PPR for week 9, like the leading scorer. So I didn't see it happening. Didn't he have a touchdown or something called back or something like that? Like I felt like he caught it. So he would have had even more
It
points.
would have been huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley for your running backs led all the running backs. All right. He finished with 32.9 points. Saquon Barkley is just what Christian McCaffrey was, I think, last year. Like he's utilized in the passing game. He's utilized in the running game. Devon Achane, they're starting to get going on that Miami Dolphins offense. But I got something interesting about the Miami Dolphins offense that's a little intriguing. We'll talk about that. But Achane, 32.1 points. Joe Burrow led the quarterbacks with 30.1 points. Joe Burrow is the number 1 scoring quarterback for week 9 at least. Garrett Wilson, Peach, you got a pair of Ohio State wide receivers in the top 10 scoring. I told you Devontae Adams was going to open up that offense for the New York Football Jets and allow this kid to feast. That's what they were missing. Now he can show everybody that he is a number 1 receiver. And now he's showing everybody if you're going to double Adams, give me the rock. He was a problem in that game. So Garrett Wilson, 30 points. Then they play on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to finish number 5 in scoring and play it on a Thursday night, he separated himself. Jalen Hurts, the number 2 quarterback up there, was number 6. I think if you got Jalen Hurts on your roster, you just got to start him every week because he's rushing for touchdowns. Like, you know, he's not throwing, he's rushing. 29.9 points. Zay Flowers had a big game for Baltimore because they added a wide receiver as well, and it just allowed Zay Flowers to cook. 29.7. He finished 7th. Old man Hopkins, Monday Night Football, 28.6 points for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I don't know if anybody has DeAndre Hopkins, but there's no way he's on anybody's waiver. So somebody got him. Hope you played him. Alvin Kamara, for some reason, ends up in the top 10 scoring every week, and it doesn't look like it because I don't even know he's on the football field.
Right. Right.
27.5 points for Kamara. And last but not least, we told you to pick this kid up last week. Wide receiver DeMarcus Robinson. He was the best receiver on the field. I believe Puka Nacua left that game with an injury, if I'm not mistaken. And it was just Cooper Kupp, DeMarcus Robinson, but 27.4 points for DeMarcus Robinson. Those are your top 10 scoring leaders. Peachy, any surprises on this list? I like to get your surprises.
My surprise was to see pleasantly surprised to see 2 of my Buckeyes on here.
It could have been 3, but one got injured.
Right. Yeah. They're balling in their respective places. That DK situation is interesting. There was rumors that it's possible that Seattle might have been trying to trade him, and so things are not, I feel like that Njigba is like the one that's going to get you the points in fantasy. So I'm happy to see him on there. Garrett Wilson, Breezie was right. Because he definitely is balling. The connection that him and Aaron Rodgers have is really good. There are a lot of people that for now are covering Adams. So we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, yeah, they did look good. But that was what my surprise was.
I mean, and Adams, like, to be fair, Adams finished with he was the 7th top wide receiver. He still finished with 22.1 points. So, like, he still was able to ball out. Like, you know what I mean? He was a top 10 receiver. He didn't make the top 10 list in scoring, but 22.1 points for that was his second game. Yeah, it's only going to increase. Like, the Jets may have a shot.
He got hurt during the game, and then he came back in the game. And
That's right.
Banged up or whatever.
That's right, because you said Adams, and I was like,
yeah.
So you're right. Yeah. Like, that's a good point. Good point made. So Adams comes back, but Wilson had the game. So let's see. We'll look at some of the matchups and whatever. Which teams aren't playing this week? We got the bye week, guys. Teams are. I like to say that the bye week teams get on the airplane. They go on a little vacation. So Peachy, who we got for the bye week?
We have the Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers, Las Vegas Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh. All right, so the Seahawks are on their bye week finally. I know they need it. This will give, and it sucks because Smith and Jigba went hamburger and cheese. He's not gonna play next week. This gives them another week to get DK Metcalf though back, and they line up and they get Kenneth Walker the fourth a little bit healthier. Like he seems a little weird out there. So Seattle, I know they're happy for their bye week. You know what? I'm sorry. I made a mistake, so I'm gonna go fix my mistake. But the Browns, I picked the Browns to win last week because don't laugh, because it's not funny. Yes, it is. That shit is hilarious. Because they Peachy, come on, man. Like they came out on fire when Jameis Winston as the quarterback, and then it went right back to the same damn Browns.
The same thing. He looked like he had forgotten and had to slip up on how to play football. That was crazy. He threw quite a few interceptions in that game. I know I saw a lot of people that was mad because they picked him up to put him in. They started
because we told them to.
Right.
But not. You know what? Well, they ain't gonna throw us under the bus. Hold up. You keep talking. I gotta make a little amendment. You keep talking about the game. I'm gonna look up and see how well he scored.
But he had a hard time out there. He was a little frustrated, but this gives them time the bye week to bounce back, to get more, in tune with the starting offense, and hopefully the Browns will look a lot better when they come back for week 11 and be ready to roll again. At least we hope so. But Jameis looked like old Jameis, where like before.
He's just a gunslinger. Like he's an official Brett Favre-ish type of a quarterback. You're gonna have some good games. You're gonna have some what the games, and that's just who he is.
Yep.
Right? Like that's.
Right.
I mean, am I wrong? Like that's.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Like last week was a what the game. Like what the was that? Like I didn't know crazy. What was going on.
Yeah, but the Browns are gonna do what they do. They just needed this bye week. I think worse than anyone who's on this 4, right? That was how they needed some stuff figured out. They need to go because they had changed, play calling duties, and they had given play calling duties to I think the offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm sorry. Let me get that right. Another coach that was on the team, the Browns.
No, I know. Oh my God. Well, he was bad. He was bad. You know why he was bad? The motherfucking interceptions.
Yeah.
13.1 points. I feel bad, Then again, they were playing a team that they were playing. Who did they play? The Chargers, right?
Yeah.
And they were at home.
Sure.
They were at home. To be fair, they were at home. All right, so if you got any Browns, Packers, Raiders, or Seahawks, take them out your starting lineup. They are on a bye week. Let's get to these waiver wire pickups, Peachy. Here we go. Let's get to them. And this is where it's going to get a little interesting. All right, so quarterback, Peachy mentioned earlier, you talked about getting that quarterback. Who was that quarterback you said that to get again from the team? Oh, from the Cooper Rush. Now, Cooper Rush finished 25th. He didn't play the whole game, but he did put up 11 points. But I feel like if you're going to get a quarterback, they don't run the ball in Dallas. Right. So I don't know if you want to go that route. At least the Titans have Tony Pollard. So if you want to get a quarterback, potentially look at Mason Rudolph. I actually like the matchup this week for Mason Rudolph. Last week he put up where did Mason Rudolph finish in scoring? 14th. He put up 18.5 points. It's not bad. Everybody else is a starter on somebody's team, so it's hard finding gems on the waiver wire this late in the season. Yeah. But he's the starting quarterback right now. I don't think Will Levis is coming back, and this is who they're rocking with. So you might want to pick him up. Mason Rudolph. What are your thoughts on Mason Rudolph, man? I thought he played a decent game. He finished with 18.5 points, and I can tell you who they're playing next week. Oh, shoot, they got the Chargers. Well, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think Mason would do better. I mean, think about it. Like, they literally played Detroit last week, and he still did decent. I think he's going to put up better numbers against the Chargers.
I think so too, right? They don't have the same
really
pass
pickup.
rush.
I think that this is a really good pickup. Yep.
I could dig it. Thank you, Peachy. All right, let's move on to the next. We got Rico Doidle. This is your guy. Like, this is the guy you told us about at the very beginning of the year. He looked explosive out there last week. What are your thoughts on Rico Doidle? I'll tell you who they're playing, and I'll tell you what he scored last week.
So, like Breezie said, told you guys about him at the beginning of the year. And I actually left him on my bench and I gradually moved him up for a couple of games, and he's done pretty good. I put him in that in my flex spot a couple times, and then I had to move him up to running back because it just needed a running back. Dallas needs something to get going, especially not having Dak Prescott out there. I look for Rico to have a really massive game for week 10.
You know what? We're going to get better. I'm going to get better. I forgot that I like stats. So what we're going to do is get better. So I like them. They're playing. Who do they have week 10? They got the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, so they got the Eagles week 10, but they're at home. So that's a good thing for the Cowboys, even though I don't think they won at home yet. Doyle did finish 10th in PPR for running back. So he was 10th overall. He finished with 16.7 points. 16.7 points last week at home. All right, now, I do want to check this really quickly, and I'm looking at the Philly. Ooh, this is going to be tough. This might be a tough game for him because I didn't know that the Eagles had the 6th-ranked run defense in the NFL. My bad.
I still
picking him up. I'm
like
picking him up. Yeah.
I would still pick him up. I know that a lot of you probably have Josh Jacobs. He's on a bye. Kenneth Walker, he's on a bye.
Correct. Nick Chubb, bye.
Chubb, bye.
Yep.
And what's the one in Vegas? I can't even remember his
Zamir
name.
White, Alexander Madison. But either way, they're on buys. So you're right.
They're on buys. So it can't hurt you to
better
pick up Dalton.
Yeah, better get somebody. Yeah. And if you're gonna get somebody that's the number 1 running back.
Right.
And that's Rico. Rico Suave. Here's our number 2 running back on here. Now, if you're also looking for a guy, it looks like that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be looking to go to this little thunder and lightning.
Yes.
And that's what you got from Emari DeMarcado. You get the Lightning. And what are your thoughts on him? And I can tell you who they're playing next week as well. They got the Jets. And they're at home.
Shocked, as a matter of fact. But Breezy's right. It does look like that the Cardinals are trying to build on kind of like what the Lions have with their thunder and lightning that they have. That they refer to as Sonic and Knuckles. So I think that the Cardinals are trying to do that too. A lot of teams are trying to go to that, to have two types of running backs out there. DeMarcado has been looking really good. If you need a running back, again, if you have, I'm saying all these guys on the bye week, I know a lot of you have them on there, whatever. I'm telling you that you can't go wrong picking them up because Arizona's has a pretty good plan going with their running group right now.
Good point. And I will say this, that they're ranked 22nd. The Jets are ranked 22nd against the run. All right?
Yes,
they're
you can definitely run on them.
Against the run. So you might want to pick them up. You know what I'm saying? Because you can run on them. They're giving up 132.6 yards per game on average. All right. They're giving up. We're in the week where you can get them. All right. Now, I've talked about this player. He's been healthy, unhealthy. When he's on the football field,
I'm telling you,
that Sherbert quarterback is a different person.
Yes,
absolutely. I don't know why we ain't been getting. I drafted him early. I dropped him. He wasn't used. I don't know what's wrong with me. But Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, Chargers. Talk about it.
Okay, the only thing that I'm going to say though, Breezy, is when we first started this season, Johnston was one of the ones that we
He had a
actually brought up to
monstrous
tell
game.
people to look for.
Yeah, he had a monstrous game, and then he got hurt,
Yes.
and then it was like, oh, I'm gonna cut him, and then every time he's on the football field, check the records, stats. Herbert is playing out of his mind when
Yep.
he's on the field for some reason. Quentin Johnston.
that seems to be Herbert's guy.
Yeah,
Whenever he's out there now, his
they
durability
got the Titans, so
is in question. They have the Titans. We see how slippery that supposed to be, hard-nosed Titans defense is supposed to be or whatever. It's not quite been like that.
good point.
I think that Johnston is really a great move. I like that.
Yeah, I hope he's available. I really do. Second wide receiver, Jordan Addison. He's starting to finally cook and heat up in the offense for the Minnesota Vikings and building his rapport with quarterback Sam Darnold. The Vikings, who are they playing this week? Let's see. The Vikings have Why don't I see the Vikings? They have the Vikings are on a bye, right?
I didn't think the Vikings were on a bye this week.
Okay.
I thought the Vikings had Jacksonville this week.
They do.
Giants.
I'm just overlooking it. All right. So
Gotcha.
they're on the road in Jacksonville. They're 4-point favorites on the road. Jacksonville is just, I don't know who the Jacksonville's a weird team.
They're tricky. They're
But
really, really tricky.
But if you could
just
go
don't
up
know.
40 on them, you should be able to beat them by
Right.
3. And Jordan Addison is a great. I think would be a great addition to add. Now, some people have drafted him, but some people let him go due to the injury and never brought him back. If he's somewhere on your waiver wire and you're in one of those 8-team leagues, pick him up.
Yes.
He's gonna have a phenomenal week this week. I could promise you that. Tight end of the week, Mike Gesicki, however you want to say his name, Sicky, whatever. Either way, I don't know why Cincinnati doesn't throw the ball to this guy. Let's think about the teams he played for. He was a monster in Miami. He went to the Patriots, but they didn't use him right.
Right.
He's literally like a Gronk-ish. Big tight end, throw him the ball, let him make acrobatic catches.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I've always liked Gesicki. Like you said, when he went to New England, they didn't use him like they should have. But Cincinnati has seemed to got him more like he was whenever he was in Miami, the way he was used in Miami. And so I like him. I know that they have that Josephus or whatever his name is, but
He's a receiver, though.
yeah, but I'm saying like as far as targets go and everything like that. But Gesicki can catch them complicated ones.
Yeah.
Those complicated passes.
That's a good point. That's a great point. And you know what it is? To me, he is the AFC's version of Cole Kmet. It's like, just throw them the goddamn ball.
Exactly. Just throw it up.
Just give it to him.
He'll get it. Yeah.
They'll get it. They'll go get it. It's like the Bears don't want to use Kmet and the Bengals don't want to use Gesicki. But I can tell you this right now, you might want to pick him up if he's available and you need a tight end. I don't care if you're searching and you need a better tight end like Isaiah Likely is who I got. Raven's not even using him. I'm looking for Gesicki in my league as we speak. He put up 22 points last week, and I think I like the matchup this week. I do. I don't think they're going to be playing a team that defends tight ends too well. And it's Thursday night football, and I know it's Kyle Hamilton, but I'm telling you, something about that Ravens defense is different too.
Right. And it's also divisional, and you never know. Like, divisional games are always
I'm begging this not to be a boring game.
very, very tricky. And Gesicki has a chance to put up some points. So yeah, if you're gonna get if you need a tight end, that's who I would definitely pick up off the waiver wire.
For sure. And we got a couple more positions for you guys. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about some of our waiver wire pickups as we continue this to go along. Here is our flex player, Jacoby Myers, wide receiver, Las Vegas Raiders, right? Are they on a bye?
They're on a bye.
All right. So we can take him off the list. Unless you just need somebody. All right. Let me give another guy. Let me give another guy. I do like you know what's crazy? The receivers cooked last week. So it's hard to find anybody on the waiver
Yeah.
wire
Yeah, that's
unless
true.
you go in. I can't go. Like you probably already have Roman Dunze, maybe the kid from Tennessee, Nick Westbrook, the kind,
That might be A. Yeah.
and they're playing who?
The Titans are playing the
They're playing the Chargers.
yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I like that.
pick him up.
Yep. I
All
like
right.
that.
From the Tennessee Titans. My bad on the slide. I totally forgot. I messed up. Oh, who cares? Anyway, let's go to the kicker. Listen, I don't know who's coaching the Saints. All I know is this kid can score some points if they could get him into his field goal range. He led kickers last week. This is Blake Group, and I like him. He looked like he not gonna kick nothing through the roof. I like who the Saints are playing this week. When I'm looking at their matchup, they got a division that they're playing the Falcons. This is might just be all field goals for them.
Exactly.
This might be a week where your kicker gets you 20 plus points. It's all about the matchup.
Yeah.
For
We have had
And he's
some
at home in the dome.
we've had a few this season where, the kickers have came through in them games and kicked 4 and 5 field goals. So with the discombobulation that the Saints are in right now, that kicker might save your week.
I don't know what to call it.
I know, it's crazy.
I really don't. I don't know. Defense. I'm going to give you some. Okay, I got 2 defenses that I think you should pick up. One, we'll go with who is playing it. The defense that I have on the thing is the Rams, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's either the Rams defense you want to start this week. I'm gonna let you pick, or the Panthers defense. Rams or Panthers? Who would you start?
Who is Carolina playing again?
Carolina's playing the Giants, and the Rams are playing on Monday Night Football. They're playing the Dolphins. What the hell is that wide receiver name? I said Nick Westbrook.
I like I know it's gonna be crazy. I never thought that I would say this one time this year, but I like the Panthers defense right now.
Do tell us why.
I think that matchup is gonna be decent. It's gonna be, because either way, Panthers, Rams, like, it doesn't matter. They're both gonna be, I would put them at the same place. The Giants, I mean, you got to think about it. Danny Dimes is trying. I will give him that. He's trying. I think what did he get his first touchdown in how long did they say?
His first passing touchdown.
His first passing
It's not even
touchdown.
funny, but it's funny, right?
That's very funny.
Yeah, that's messed up.
In a long time. I'm trying to remember like when the last time he had one. So
I mean,
I think I'll go with the Panthers.
all right. So Peachy's going with the Panthers. I'm gonna go with the Rams. And I tell you what, I don't think we're wrong. I think you can go with either one, and here's why. I gotta give you the context why. All right. So I'm going Dolphins on the road. They're traveling to the West Coast. I don't think their defense. I just think the Rams defense is gonna be pretty damn stout against their offense. Both of those teams that I mentioned, the Giants and the Dolphins, are the lowest scoring offenses in the NFL, 32nd and 31st. I don't know why they can't score. I don't care about the yards. You got 400 yards and no points.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously they're going to get production for some of those players, but I mean, I just think you should go Rams. I think the Rams will force a turnover or two. They might even get a pick six. They might fumble recovery, something, especially since they're going to be at home. But Peachy says this might be the week to go Carolina against the Giants. It's weird, but pick one of them two defenses this week. I promise, man. They're gonna help your. They're gonna boost your points at least by 10. I think it's the key. You want to get it minimum 10 points defense. If you can get 10 points on defense, you rocking, you rolling.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going Rams defense versus the Dolphins. Peachy is going Carolina's defense versus the Giants. All right. Kicker Blake Group. Receiver Nick Westbrook Ikine. Tight end Mike Gesicki. Wide receiver 2 Jordan Addison. Wide receiver 1 Quentin Johnston. Running back 2 Mari DiMercado. Running back 1 Rico Doido. Quarterback Mason Rudolph. Those are your top 10 motherfreaking waiver wire picks of the motherfreaking week. Broken glass everywhere. Let's go. Peachy, any sleepers that we didn't mention? Anybody before we jump off here? Is there anybody we need to start? I would say not sleeper, but must start. That's what I meant. Must start.
Oh, because I had like a really good sit.
Or must sit. Who we sitting?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, against the Niners.
Yeah, I would. I'm telling you, and I already got some flack about this because I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I'm telling you, this 49ers defense is going to be recharged, ready to go, mentally in there, knowing that we have to go on a winning streak. Their first thing is going to be to stop Baker Mayfield. I don't see Baker having a good. I think that finally his lack of offensive players, I think it's going to catch up with him as far as his pass catchers. I think it's finally going to catch up with him. And in this game, it's going to show Tampa Bay, missing Mike Evans, missing Chris Godwin, missing these. I really think that we are going to put on display them missing them. And I would sit Baker.
That's good assessment right there. I like what you said. I'm trying to think of who's a must start. I mean, these are tough games. I'm looking at these games. I think you got start James Conner against the Jets run defense.
Yes.
Start James Conner.
That's a really good one.
Make sure you start James Conner in the discussion. And it doesn't matter. The thing I like what the Cardinals do is they're not trying to like overwork the run, but when they find the gash and they put their foot on the gas, they will run it 17 times in a row and you can't stop it. And that's what they're doing. And now, like PG mentioned earlier in the episode, they're starting to switch it up. They're starting to switch the speeds of the run. They're giving you DiMercado. They can add some wide receivers out of the backfield, and then they pound you with James Conner. Make sure you start James Conner, in my opinion, against that Jets. I know the Jets won a game. They not. Yo, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I need the Jets to beat the Cardinals. Don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted. We need them to beat the Cardinals. Just don't think they will.
I don't think that's going to happen either.
No, it's not going to happen. Guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in to What's Your Fantasy Football Show, Waiver Wire Must Adds for Week 10. We'll see you back here next week. Until then, keep the peace, baby. And go vote. Peace.
Yes.